solo.
And hello, welcome to Solo Playthroughs. We got an interesting one today with Black Orchestra. Somebody called Black Orchestra nothing short of magic. And I don't mean like, it's so good, it's magical. I mean like literally it feels like eerie sometimes when things happen in this game. It all makes logical sense, but it does feel pretty magic at times. This was a review copy sent to me in part. I got a review copy of the Fair Youth expansion, which is not that easy to find. So I do appreciate Side Room Games. I think it's Side Room Games. Did I say the wrong thing? I feel like I said the wrong thing. Nope, Side Room Games. Excellent. Got it right once in a while. Side Room Games sent me a review copy of that. I do appreciate that. I did purchase the base game myself. I do want to make sure my settings are correct here. Someone can tell me I sound okay. That'd be great. Autofocus is off. So it was a solo playthroughs first today. And when I went to start the stream, I was like, I literally had Sky Tier Horde set up on the table. I was good to go, felt pretty, excited, whatever. Don't poke the bear, things were going to happen. And then I was like, oh, I scheduled Black Sonata. I'm going to say Black Orchestra at some point today. Black Sonata for Thursday and Sky Tier Horde for Friday. So fortunately, I had them both right next to my table. I switched it up. I don't want to confuse people, and if anybody did have this in their notifications to be notified for when it started, I just didn't want to mess that up. So here we are. So I'm going to be a little rusty. I do wish I had this a little bit more optimized for video, but I think it's good. Sky Tier Horde is also a small game, so I think we should be able to make this transition pretty quick. Let me talk about some of the content here. So the base game includes these Dark Lady cards. There are 6 different suits, for lack of a better word. There's different icons. There are 2 of each. And there's ways that you can change the difficulty. With some of these, like you would really only need to like get 3 or 4 of them, and you can probably figure out the puzzle. The Fair Youth expansion includes the Darker Ladies, which is a bit harder. So I'm going to start with those. We might switch over to the base game ones for the second game. And I'm going to have 2 games today because I'm going to put the rival poet in, the aggressive poet. There's a passive poet, the aggressive poet. The aggressive poet really messes with you. So we'll be using that one. This is one of the modules from the Fair Youth expansion, so I'm going to put this away. So there are 4 modules in the Fair Youth expansion, actually really 5. One is the rival poet, one is the Darker Ladies, which we'll be using, so that's number 2. Number 3 is this whole idea of the rendezvous. The rendezvous means that you can only win if you find the fair lady at a location that has one of these specific symbols, which I'll explain as we go. There's also the Fair Youth himself. The Fair Youth has a hideout. We are trying to find him and confront him and tell him to stay away from our woman or something of the sort. There is a really cool historical book that comes with this game that I did read through. I'm still a little fuzzy on all of what's going on with this game. However, I really, really do dig it. That is not an important text. Again, still doing construction at my house. Still need to make sure that's happening. You notice I have some interesting little marks on my arm. That is doing some stuff around the house yesterday. And my goofy ass decided to do some self-harm. That's fine. All right, so we have accidental self-harm. I don't want anyone, calling an emergency hotline on me because I know that stuff can be serious. Anyway, I digress. We have the Fair Youth expansion, so we're going to try to find where the hideout of the Fair Youth is, and there's ways that we're going to do that. We have all these tokens that come with the Fair Youth expansion. And finally, the Fair Youth expansion, so the 5th piece of content in the Fair Youth expansion gives you this waypoint. This does make the game easier. I will not use it, but effectively, if you know where the Dark Lady is, you can be like, hey, I'm going to put this in the deck so I know that where she is, and then I can put this card to know like when she's going to be in that location 3 or 5, with a warning of 3 or 5 spaces, right? So it's just a way to put this in the deck as reminders for yourself. I think for me, part of the puzzle is trying to remember all the information I glean. And what information am I trying to glean? Oh, Rocket Magnet, hello, sir. Sound video okay? Joey, hey, Greg, to be or not to be Sky Tier Horde? Good point. You aren't Philly. I thought those were just track marks on your arms. Oh, dear God. Well, lots of potential comments. All right, so we want to find the Dark Lady. For those of you who know Shakespearean lore at all, feel free to correct me because I'm going to butcher some of this. But effectively, Shakespeare wrote a bunch of sonnets about the Dark Lady, and it's unclear whether the Dark Lady had anything to do with her complexion or whether it had to do with her absolute lack of a moral compass. There's a bunch of historians that have a bunch of theories about who the Dark Lady could be. And this deck is going to basically give us a either actual artistic representation, most of the time it's just generic art from that time, of the various women that have been linked to Shakespeare who people think might have been the Dark Lady, assuming the Dark Lady was actually a real historical figure and not just, some literary device that Shakespeare was using at the time. However, this mystery will never be fully unraveled. This happened 400 years ago, and here we are today, still, not discussing it as much as playing a game about it. So, we want to go around London. Our Dark Lady is going to be moving to all these various locations. And then we will, once we get to a location where we think where she is, we can try to confront her. If we do confront her successfully, we get more clues as to her location, and then it becomes a question of being able to identify her, like metaphorically in the game, is being able to identify what 3 symbols link to the Dark Lady. So we have these 6 symbols. These clues will tell us what symbols matter, and again, all that will become clear as we go. Again, the rendezvous expansion is not only in the very end when we try to say, no, I know who you are, these are your 3 symbols, we have to be in the location matching our rendezvous. So again, each of these cards links to one of the specific icons that are on the map. And then we have the Fair Youth expansion as like the separate thing. We need to just find his hideout, and you see at the bottom here, his hideout is one of the 11 locations on the board. These fog cards basically prevent us from confronting the Fair Lady at the same part in her sequence. She will go through her sequence 3 times over the course of the game. If we don't successfully identify her by the end of 3 times, we lose. So if we confront her during the sequence 1 time, we replace that card where we confronted her with this, and now in the future, we might know where she is, but we still can't confront her anymore because now we have this fog card. These cards have some abilities on the back. Some are absolutely annoying. Some are really, really helpful. I try not to use them because they absolutely can break your game if you think you're doing well. But ultimately, over the course of the 3 sequences through her little extravaganza around London, we're going to need to confront her probably 5 or 6 times while we're doing this other stuff up here. The rival the rival poet expansion, again, we'll get to that in the second game because it does radically change how the game plays, and I might not use all the modules with the rival poet. I still haven't decided. It might depend on whether or not I win this first challenge or not. Joey says, is this from the same publisher as Maquis? The cards and board look similar. It absolutely is. Although the Gaming Goat was involved in this. I don't know if they were involved in Maquis, but Side Room Games and Mechanical Beast, I don't understand how all those they're all little indie companies. I don't know how they all come together. But they seem to have some kind of partnership where, it definitely is from the same people and same tabletop presence and whatever. And it's pretty excellent in what they do. The base game was not that expensive. I forget what I picked it up for. Finding the Fair Youth expansion was a bit more of a challenge, and then I reached out to them and they sent me a review copy, which was super kind of them. All right. Let's make this happen. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of these cards. I'm going to get a D12, and this is going to be our Fair Lady. The Darker Lady is going to be number 2, which is a club. Again, the Darker Ladies don't have 6 symbols. They only have 4, the 4 symbols that you will see in a standard deck of cards. So we have this club is going to come out, and this club is going to come out because there's 3 of each symbol. We're going to take exactly 1 of these at random. 1 through 6 will be there. 7 through 12 will be there. So this is going to come over here, and now we're going to put these location cards on it. There's holes in these cards. That's there for a reason, and we'll see why as we go. And there's 11 of them, and we're going to put them right on top of that clue card. If we go to every location, as we go to every location, I should say, because we will get to every location eventually, we will take the corresponding location from this deck if we already haven't, if it's our first time there. And then if we get all 11 of these cards in our hand, then we get that clue for free. This card is going to be added with the top 3 cards of this deck, so I'm just not going to think about it too much. And then we're going to just shuffle these up. I'm going to need at least 4 clues, so it really doesn't matter where it goes. We're going to put them on top of this. We're going to put the rest of these cards on top of that, and then this flips over like so. Now that is our Dark Lady Clues deck. My doorbell is ringing. I think I need to get that. All right, hold on a sec. Woo! It was a dark lady. No, it's not code for my wife either. Yeah, it's my contractor. So he locked himself out, and that was my microphone was in my beard there for a second. I'm sure that sounded super awesome. All right, we're gonna put this over here. These are the 5 cards. We are gonna choose a random one of these 11 cards. Why there are 11? Again, there are 11 locations. I rolled that. It's a 7. So 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. This is going to come in. The rest of these 10 cards are going to come out of the game. We have 8 of these locations. I'm going to roll a d8. 2. This comes there. The rest of these come out of the game. And what is going to be our sequence? Well, the game comes with 8 sequences on the cards, and there are other sequences in the rulebook. We're just going to use one on the cards. Now, the 4 at the top, the Dark Lady always moves every single turn. So, as you pull these symbols on the back, you know that she's absolutely going to move. However, the ones on the bottom, she might decide to stay put. So it does increase the difficulty because it increases the range of places where she might go to. There are 32 cards that come with the game, and exactly 6 of them will just have a dash in an appropriate quadrant, right, or appropriate corner, right? So we're going to take these out because these all have a dash in the second spot on the bottom. So we are doing the variant where she might not move every turn. The rest of the 26 cards we put in alphabetical order based on the slot on the card. So that's A, that's B, that's C, all the way up to Z, assuming I know my alphabet. So we're going to take this, we're going to flip it over, we're going to cut it as many times as we want. It does not change the sequence. So I'm going to stop there. I'm taking this card. Since we have 3 times through the deck, we actually rotate it to there. So it says, "For I have sworn thee fair." We rotate this to the 2, more perjured I. And now we are in the first time through the deck. When we get through the deck, this will appear. It doesn't count as a card for any purpose other than reminding us we're 1 time through the deck. And then it will tell us, hey, this is going to be our 2nd time through the deck. And then, oh, that's our 3rd time through the deck, we lose. So we're going to put this right here. We're pretty much going to hold on to it actually most of the game. So we're not going to put it anywhere. This represents us. Will is looking mighty fine with his little bald head right now. We're going to put him over in Eastcheap. We can start wherever the heck we want. The fair lady, for her part, is going to start in a cross. Now, we are going to want to get some idea of her movement as we go, because we're going to want, the more we can track where she goes, the more we can start confronting her in her future times through her sequence. That, I believe, is everything. All right. So on our turn, we have different options. And what I like about the modules is they give you more to do and more to deduce. There is a point scoring system. I will do it maybe. I don't know. If I feel motivated, I might not. We all know me with points. I'm like, whatever. Maybe I'm gonna bring myself in there a little bit more. Yeah. Um, we maybe do the points, we might not. But anyway, I like these because they just give you more to do, more to deduce, and they add a little bit to the difficulty. Actually, this adds a lot to the difficulty. This adds a little bit to the difficulty. Every turn starts with the fair lady moving. What's her movement going to be? Well, we're going to take this. And notice I put these out to remind, so she could be any of one of those 4 places. Those are the 4 places that have a cross, right? We're going to start. Her first movement is she's going from a cross to a house. That means she still realistically could have been at any of these 4 places. This is a house here. This is a house here. This is a house here. So we really have no information as to what 4 of those possibilities that she's at. On my turn, since I have no real information, I'm in Eastcheap. I don't really want to move anywhere. There's a chance that she might move to Cornhill. On the off chance that she moves to a money, I'm actually going to move myself into Cornhill. That's my entire turn. On my turn, I can move, I can confront, I can try to do one of those 2 things. I chose to move. This is my first time in Cornhill. I get this Cornhill card, and I will just put it down here. I'll try to keep a row of these all in alphabetic order to kind of keep it simple. All right, or keep it organized, maybe not simple. The Fair Lady's second turn, she moves from a house back to a cross. We still have 0 information. So we know that the first 3 cards in her sequence is cross, house, cross. We get squadouche information from any of those things. Now, if the money sign comes up, she could go to Cornhill or London Bridge. So it's not as helpful for me now as it was last time. I could go to Eastcheap, but again, Eastcheap would still mean it would be Eastcheap or Wark. I'm going to butcher a lot of these things. So, you know what? I'm going to start trying to identify the hideout of the Fair Youth. So how am I going to do that? So I'm going to take this Fair Youth card. I'm going to put it just like that on the Cornhill card, and I'm going to make sure I keep this close tight together, and we're going to flip it over. Cross. Now, what that means is the last time the Fair Youth left Cornhill going toward his hideout, he went toward a cross. So that's not all that helpful in Cornhill because there's a cross there and there's a cross here. So I don't know which way he went. Well, we do know that the Fair Youth always takes the shortest possible path to his hideout. And we also know that if I just happen to be unlucky enough to be in his hideout to start the game, that he will lie to me, or that the bystander whose information I'm getting is lying to me. They're giving me wrong information. So if it happens to be Cornhill, that this is a total red herring, which would absolutely mess up my ability to deduce the Fair Youth location. Now, I've had games where I was able to deduce within 2 cards. It's super lucky. I've had games where it took me 7 cards. So it depends on the game how many actions you're spending to really deduce where the Fair Youth's hideout is. But that's my turn, right? So I got information about the Fair Youth's hideout. I know that when he was in Cornhill going toward his hideout, unless his hideout is Cornhill, that he left and went toward a cross. So that gets him toward St. Paul's or Bishop's Gate. Sorry, not Bishop's Grass, which for any marijuana smoking bishops, Bishop's Grass might be more appropriate. I don't know. We're going to go to the Fair Lady's turn. She's going to a house. What an awful start to this sequence. We have cross house, with really very little as clue as to where she actually is, right? So we're at a very rough part of the sequence, but it's good to know for future. And cross house will be pretty easy to remember for the second and third time through this little journey here. So I'm going to move to St. Paul's. That is my first time in St. Paul's. I get the St. Paul's card that goes there. And now we go back to the Fair Lady's turn. She's going to move to a tree. All right, we have a little bit of clarity. So cross house. We know it couldn't have been this one. It could have been this one. We don't know yet, but we know there's 2 trees. So ultimately she's only there or she's there. We're still not positive which one, but we at least have eliminated some possibilities, and we have a more narrow idea of where she could be going. So I'm going to try to go to places where I could get lucky depending on what the next symbol is. And again, I don't know what the symbol is going to be, but I'm going to go to Blackfriars because if she goes toward a rowboat, I'll be at Blackfriars, and I know that she'll be there. Okay, so we have cross house, tree. Blackfriars comes off. Her turn. she's going to go toward a house again. She loves her houses, people. So she could be here, she could be here, or she could be here. I still don't have a lot of information. And yeah, if she goes, there's no symbol that's going to give me goes here. We're going to have an arrow towards St. Paul's, so those are consistent. Or, oh, I might have skipped a little bit. Somebody can let me know if that didn't work. And then I went toward a Clerkenwell. So again, I just realized I reconnected, so I don't know when I disconnected. So I did this at Blackfriars. I looked this over. It's a cross symbol, so I can put this up here. And I know that the last time the Fair Youth left Blackfriars to go toward his hideout, he went toward a cross. And what that tells me is, I mean, trying to put these together, right? Again, it could be towards St. Paul's. It pretty much rules out Cripplegate if they're both people are telling me the truth, right? It pretty much rules out Cripplegate because from Cornhill, it would have gone from Cornhill directly to Cripplegate. So we kind of can say, all right, Cripplegate's not looking good. It kind of rules out anything down here, right? Because if both people were, if either one, if any of the hideouts were down here, is what I'm trying to say, one of them would have pointed south, right? They both can't be lying to me. So we can rule out East Cheap, and I'm just going to put ones on all the locations we can rule out. It's one of the, actually, I'll just, yeah, ones. So that's actually one of the reasons I can do this. So 1, we know it's not here. We know it's not here. We just know these are not the hideout of the Fair Youth. Because they would have pointed south, but they don't. You see? That's a thing. If it was Blackfriars, it still could be Blackfriars. Remember, Blackfriars could be lying to me. It still could be Cripplegate, because remember, Cornhill could be lying to me. It could be Shoreditch. No, it can't be Shoreditch. No, it could be Shoreditch. It could be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So it's really, it could be any of those up top yet, but we just know that those 4 are totally safe. So that was my turn. How do you think of so far? This one I hear about in Solo Circle, says Brian. It's really good, dude. I like it a lot. It's you know, is it one of those for a hidden movement solo game? I mean, it's pretty remarkable what it does. The Fair Youth expansion does add a lot. I wasn't totally gung ho about getting the expansion until I watched Mike Kelly's 5 and 5, and he does talk about like the importance of the expansion of this game, and I kind of agree. I think the base game would get pretty dry pretty quick. The expansion adds just a lot more interest and just different things that you could be doing. Mr. Sam the Man, the game is very good. Deduction game, solo, playable in about 30 minutes once you get the rules down. Yeah, absolutely. I'm going slower, obviously, because I'm explaining things. But yeah, this is a very quick game. The second game will be a lot snappier. All right, the fair lady, the darker lady is going toward a rowboat. Well, that just gave us a bunch of information. Now we know she's down here. She's over here in this part of the board. So remember, we are cross house, tree, house, rowboat. Cross house, tree, house, rowboat. So she's somewhere in these parts. We'll see what the thing that comes up next. Ideally, it's like beer, and then we'll know, oh, she's just doing this loop down here. Because then we have tree, house, rowboat, beer would be awesome. But there's no real point in me staying here right now. I'm not gaining a lot of information, although I do need to pick up all these locations at some point in time. So there is some utility in maybe me doing that. But I also could just do this loop this way. I'm going to do that loop this way. And if a tree comes up, that could actually be really good for me too. So I'm going to go here to Clerkenwell and get the Clerkenwell card. If Cornhill's telling me the truth, we can definitely rule out Cripplegate and Clerkenwell, right? Because it would have been up. So that's, I mean, St. Paul's is looking really likely. We're not going to get much information from Clerkenwell, I don't think. But we're in Clerkenwell. We'll see where the fair lady was. So we had cross house, tree, house, robot, beer. She is doing the Southern Rim. Great. So yeah, cross house, tree, house, robot, beer. So the second time around, we know we're going to want to be down there because we're going to want to confront her as she comes around the bend. Super awesome. On my turn, I go to Cripplegate. We get that card. On her turn, she goes to the London Bridge. So tree, house, robot, beer, London Bridge. So she's doing the full loop at this point. Now beer, she could go either way. We won't know. Cross, she would be going back this way. We'll see what she does. Robot or money, she would just be staying put in London Bridge. I'm going to look for the fair youth in Cripplegate. This is my turn. We'll see what symbol it is. It is tree. That's confusing. The fair youth is at tree. How? There or there? Well, let's deduce this, right? It can't be Clerkenwell, because if Cornhill's telling me the truth, it can't be Cornhill, so we know that Cornhill's telling the truth. It can't be Blackfriars, so we know that. Ooh, it could be Blackfriars. It could be Blackfriars if Blackfriars is lying to me, right? Because that could be 1-2. Cornhill could be 1-2. Of course, like the most confusing thing ever. If Blackfriars is lying to me, Cornhill be 1-2. That could be 1-2. So, but it could be up in Shoreditch. I mean, Cornhill is going 1-2. Because it's always the shortest path. That could be 1-2-3. If I go to St. Paul's and St. Paul's gives me house, that's going to be super annoying. I think what I need to do is search from Bishopsgate, because if I search on Bishopsgate's going to have to give me like kind of the key. It can't give me a symbol that's duplicative, and it will tell me if I'm going down this way, it could be Blackfriars. If it goes up, it's going to have to be Shoreditch, because based on what I have right now, it has to be Blackfriars or Shoreditch, unless I'm absolutely missing something. But I think I'm on the right path. So I'm pretty much down to Blackfriars or Shoreditch, and I can rule out Clerkenwell for sure, because it can't be Cripplegate, and so Cripplegate is now not lying to me. I know that, and I had them more ones, so I'm just going to put a 2 on Cripplegate and no there, and I know it can't be Clerkenwell, and I pretty much know it can't be St. Paul's because of Cripplegate, because Cripplegate, again, can't be lying to me. Or it could be lying to me. No, it can't be Cripplegate, because if Cripplegate was lying to me, Cornhill would have pointed right to it. So it can't be St. Paul's either. Yeah, we're definitely down to Blackfriars, Cornhill. Cornhill, it can't be lying to me. If Cornhill was lying to me, Cripplegate would have pointed it to me, so it can't be Cornhill. So we're down to those 3. It could be Bishopsgate, because Cripplegate is 1-2. St. Paul's would go 1-2. That goes right. So it could be Bishopsgate. So it's one of those 3 is what we're down to. All right, the fair lady. Remember, she had cross house, tree, house, rowboat, beer, money. Where's she going now? She goes to beer. So she's either going backwards to Southwark or forwards to Eastcheap. We don't know which. I'm going to move to Shoreditch. It's my first time in Shoreditch. We get that. The fair lady's going to move. She goes to money. So she's either in Cornhill or London Bridge. So it's cross house, tree, house, rowboat, beer, money. And then it was beer, money. So she's either doing a little dance down in London Bridge in Southwark, or she's actually moving all the way around. I think, well, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think there's some utility in ruling out Blackfriars. Or if this is a cross, I just know it's Bishopsgate. If he's lying to me, then that's also a thing. So maybe that's not worth going to. I think I want to search in Bishopsgate. That seems like, well, it could be Bishopsgate too. So Bishopsgate could be lying to me. They're all lying to me. Whatever. I can't figure this out. I'm just going to do it. Whatever. What else do I have to lose? Goes toward house, which is what I thought it would do, which is why this was done. So if it goes toward house, so it can go this way or this way, and it can't possibly, well, it could go this way for sure. Because if it's Bishopsgate, that's all consistent. This way, I don't want to, unless it's Blackfriars, that could also be consistent. So again, we haven't really ruled anything out. That's the information we have. Fair Lady stays where she is in money, and that's going to be important to remember. So we have tree, house, rowboat, beer, money. Beer, money, money. She loves the money. We go to Bishopsgate. We're here. Ba-ba-bum. That's going to go there. The Fair Lady is going to move. She went to cross. That's not going to help. Now she goes to house. Interesting. She's in Cripplegate now, or she's in Bishopsgate. Which also meant beer, money, money had to be here because she couldn't possibly be down here. So we have tree, house, rowboat, beer, money, money, and then she went to the two houses. So we're basically tracking her so we'll just know where she's at next time around. In Bishopsgate, I'm going to search for this dude. It says theater. Could that be true? It says theater, which gets me there. Now, is there any reason I can rule out Bishopsgate? Cornhill pointed me this way. I didn't search in Clerkenwell. Blackfriars pointed me this way. Cripplegate points me this way. Shoreditch points me this way. Eastcheap doesn't help. I probably should have searched from St. Paul's. No, that doesn't help. Huh. All right, I got a reason set. I should have enough information to figure this out. Unless I probably should have searched from Clerkenwell. No, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's the same distance. Up there. If Shoreditch, Cornhill, Cripplegate. It can't be Bishopsgate because Cripplegate would have, no, it could have gone there too. That's weird. Because Cripplegate could have gone up there, so 1, 2. Cornhill can go 1. All right, let me figure out Shoreditch. Shoreditch from Clerkenwell. I never searched in Clerkenwell. Cripplegate, that's the shortest path to Shoreditch. Blackfriars, that could be the shortest path to Shoreditch. Cornhill, that could be the shortest path to Shoreditch. But now if we go Bishopsgate, shortest path to Bishopsgate, shortest path to Bishopsgate, shortest path to Bishopsgate, shortest path to Bishopsgate. I don't think I have enough information. And I don't think Eastcheap's going to help. I think it could, in theory, be either one. Why would I know that Shoreditch is lying to me and Bishopsgate's not? That's the $1 million question. Why would I know that Shoreditch is lying to me and Bishopsgate's not? Or vice versa. Dude, this is riveting TV. Why would I know that Shoreditch is lying to me and Bishopsgate's not? I think I need to search from St. Paul's because St. Paul's would be the key. Yeah, I have to search from St. Paul's to rule out Shoreditch or Bishopsgate. I'm going to remove the rest of these, and whichever one St. Paul's goes to is going to be the one. Because it's going to be 1, 2 there, 1, 2 there. I just never searched from St. Paul's, and now I realize the error in my ways, but that's going to have to point me the right way. One of those two is lying to me. I just do not know which one. All right, so we know it's either here or here. I can get rid of the rest of these tokens because it's crowding the board, and I know I need to search from St. Paul's, so I will use this as a reminder of that. And then I could definitively find the thing. All right, so remember, Fair Lady was cross house, tree, rowboat, house, beer, money, beer, money, money, house. And back to beer. So definitely into East Sheep. So I was where she was at, and I just failed to capitalize on that glorious opportunity. But that's fine, because remember, I still need to get the rest of these things. So I'm getting somewhere, but I'm not confronting as much as I'm going to need to. So we'll have to start upping the frequency of that, which will get harder, but we'll talk about that. So we get to East Sheep. I have another card here. So we're getting close to having all the cards. We just need London Bridge, Southwark. So I'll just probably round this out. You do want to confront her before you get the card, but that might not be possible with the way this is working out. Her turn, we know she's an East Sheep, and now we know she goes back to Bishop's Gate. So she's just like doing this. She went money, beer, money, money, house, beer, house. I'm gonna go to London. I'll go to Cornhill. Maybe she'll go toward money. Nope, she goes up to Shoreditch for the theater. I'm gonna go to St. Paul's. She goes to house, so she goes to Bishopsgate or to Cripplegate. So she went house, beer, house, theater, house. Here I'm going to find out once and for all, it's going toward house. So we know that if Shoreditch was the location, we know it would have gone up. Oh, going toward house. Woof. Yeah, it's going toward house. So we know it's going to Cripplegate. So the shortest location is towards Shoreditch, and this has to be the location. Now, as a free action, when I'm there, I can just reveal the fact that that is the hideout of the fair youth. All right. So let's not forget where we were. So we went house, beer, house, theater, house. One of those two, we don't know where. Back to tree. So it's up there or it's there. I still need to round these suckers out. I'm going to go to Blackfriars and hope she goes toward a robot. For a rowboat, not a robot. Now she stays at the tree again. So it was house, tree. No, house, theater, house, tree. House, theater, house, tree. And Kai looked back. I know I cheated. It's fine. I think I'm going to start trying to identify this now. So I'm at Blackfriars, and let's see what the rendezvous point is. The rendezvous point says 2. Now, what that means is the symbol that is our special place is at least in one location 2 away, counting. It doesn't have to be the shortest path, but it has to be 2 away. So we're looking at what's 2 away from where I am now. Can I possibly move 2 and get to a location that has a cross? I can. Can I possibly 2 and get to a location that has beer? I can. Same with rowboat. I cannot move 2 and get to a rowboat. I'm on a place with a rowboat, not robot, but I cannot move 2 and get to a rowboat, so it can't be rowboat. Can I move 2 and get to a place with a theater? I cannot. So we know that the rendezvous cannot be the theater. We had no romantic theater trips for us. I cannot move 2 and get to a tree. Now I can move 1 and get to a tree, but I cannot move 2 to get to a tree, so it can't be that. But the rest of those are fine. I can move 2 to get to a cross. 1, 2. I can move 2 to get the beer. I can move 2 to get the money. I can move 2 to get to a house. So it's one of those 4 symbols left is our magical location. So again, we went house, theater, house, tree. So she's either back there or she's over here. And then she goes to cross. So she either stays there or moves there. We still don't know which one. I need to get a move on, so I'm going to start going down. Woof. Liberty of the Clink. You have 2 locations left. The fair lady moves. She goes to beer, so she is over here. So think about this. She went to house, theater, house, tree, cross, beer, and she's back to East Sheep. She just loves. I mean, she was like tree, house, rowboat, beer, money, house, and then she did that little dance right there. It's house, theater, house, tree, house, beer. Did I just move her? Or did I move after that? I forget. I think it's my turn to move. Is it my turn to move? I think it's my turn to move. Yeah, so I'm going to move. If that's wrong, someone can let me know. If I'm cheating. Southwark, so we only have one location left. She moves to money. She could be here or here. I'm going to move to London Bridge. And again, someone let me know if I took an extra movement. This is going to go here. So she went house, theater, house, tree, house, theater, house, tree, cross, beer, money. We don't know where she is. That's my last location, so I can flip this over. And we have one clue now. So we know that we're trying to find the darker lady, that she is a club. And we know that this card now has one symbol in combination of clubs. So we know that the three symbols on the club card is either going to be a baby rattle, an inkwell, or a music note, but cannot be one of those three. Now, all those symbols are actually historically linked to the characters themselves. So Jacqueline Field, she was a writer, she was a musician, and she had a kid, is I think what that's trying to get at. But you know, we know it's not Jacqueline Field. We just know that one of those things is in common with the darker lady herself. All right, so that was my move. And again, we're going to review house, theater, house, tree, cross, beer, money, cross. So we're either in Southwark or we're in Bishopsgate. I am not getting anywhere quick. This is unusual, not being able to confront. I've just been a little unlucky with that. But we're just going to do this because why the heck not? London Bridge. We know that the symbol is one away from where we currently are in London Bridge. Now remember, we had already ruled out, this should be a 2. We'd already ruled out tree, we had already ruled out theater, and we already ruled out rowboat. So what's one away from London Bridge? Well, beer's one away from London Bridge, and so is cross. Is that really it? Woof. So we know it's beer or cross already? Did I book that right? Are you correct? It is a 1. All right, so we know it's beer or cross. That's it. We don't need to do anything else. We just know it's beer or it's cross. And we just got to figure out now which one is our special meeting place. The fair lady's gonna go. She goes toward rowboat. So she was definitely in Southwark, and now she goes to Liberty of the Clink. So again, we could have traced her. She went house, theater, house, tree, cross, beer, money, cross, beer, cross, beer, money, cross, rowboat. So she went house, theater, house, tree, cross, beer, money, cross, rowboat. So she went up there and she went back here. So she loops over here, she loops back. We are going to want to try to catch her down here in the future. I'm going to go to Southwark and try to chase her a little bit. Well, she goes toward tree. So I got totally messed up. Oh, my bad. Beer. Nope, my bad. We got off kilter because when she did money, she was there, and then she went to cross, which could have been here or here or here, and now she's at tree, so we know she was actually up there. So I take all that back. Again, you just figure out, like, where did I go wrong? She went house, theater, house, tree, cross, beer, money, cross, tree, as I think how that went, but I might have skipped a thing on there. We'll have to figure that out the next time around. Well, beer cross. I think I'll have some luck if I search here. So I'm going to Southwark, and the number is 2. There's beer within 2, beer at 2. There's not cross, so we know that our special rendezvous point was beer, just like most kids in college. So that's a super good thing to know. So when we finally confront the fair lady in the end of this game, we're going to have to be in a location that has a beer symbol. But we have our work cut out for us because I have not confronted her at all. But at least we've taken care of those 2 puzzles, and now we can hyper focus on actually finding the fair lady. So where are our beer locations? Well, there's beer here, and there's beer here. So these are the only 2 locations that we can fully confront the fair lady if we want to succeed when you're playing with the rendezvous module. So fair lady's gonna move. She goes to theater, so that means she stays put where she is. I'm gonna move. I gotta start confronting her, and that was our first time through the deck. This just flips over, and now we go our second time through. So this is a 1, and now she moves to cross. She's now on Bishop's Gate. I move to East Cheap. Remember, her first thing was cross house, cross house, cross house, cross house, and then I think it was rowboat, or is it beer? Remember, we got confused by that. I got confused by that a lot because I thought she was over here because she went house, rowboat, beer, money. She kind of loops around here quick. So we'll see what her next thing is. So I go to East Cheap. She stays where she is at the house unless I'm totally confused where she is. Tree, rowboat, rowboat theater. Oh, I got really messed up. Now cross, robot, rowboat. I missed the rowboat. What? Oh, my bad. Yeah, my bad. I'm a goofball. Sorry, doing this on live is like really hard. She went cross rowboat. She had to do this. It's the only that makes sense. Cross rowboat, tree, and then she went theater. So she's actually back here, and now she's at cross. I was like, I knew something was very wrong. So she's at cross. So she goes cross house, and then she's going to start her way around here. So I want to intercept her. We know it's cross house, right? So I'm going to intercept her somewhere over here. So I go to Cornhill. She goes again. It's cross. She was at house at that point, and now she's at cross. I'm too slow. I'm too slow. I would have moved here on my last turn. Sorry. I'm too slow. Cross. That was my last turn. This is this turn. She moves again. She goes to house. It's going to be that house. I'm going to move here. She moves again. She goes to tree. And now she's going to start her way down. I go to Blackfriars. She goes to house. Now I know she's here because this is the second time I'm seeing this through the thing. The first time, and I know she goes there, to there, to there, to there, to there, and then she does a bunch of stuff up here. Remember, this is our 6th card in the deck. So I'm going to confront her in Blackfriars. I'm going to take this card out, but I'm going to add a cloud card here, and I'm going to put it on the location where I'm at. Now, when I flip this over, if we see the fair lady in the little hole there, then we know that we're right. Bam, there she is. We found her. So it looks like that. We see her through the little peephole. For I have sworn thee fair and thought thee bright, who art as black as hell and dark as night. So we know that she's there. Since I successfully did that, this comes out. So the next time she's at this house, remember the pattern. It was cross house, tree, house. So this house is no longer there. She is going to flee. Now, this is going to be my second clue card. So let me take the clue card. So I can take this off. We have Anne Hathaway there. I'm going to take this and slide it underneath. This comes over. This is my second clue card. And the lady's like, oh no, you're moving in on me. So she's going to move 2. 1 for the clue card I got shot, plus 1 for the clue card I already had. So 1, 2, she flees. And now she ends up here. And we know that she was going to be there anyway. Then she's going to do a normal turn where she's going to move. She moves to the London Bridge, and then it's going to be back to my turn. Now, we're back to the same thing with the clubs. So one of these three symbols is going to match the club. So it's going to be either the crown, the chain, or the rattle. The rattle is a shared thing. So there's a chance that it is the rattle. If it is the rattle, then we know for sure that those would be the 3 symbols that match with our Dark Lady. If it's not the rattle, then there's a lot more possibilities. But we definitely don't have any information to know if it's a rattle or not. None of the other 4 symbols match each other, but this is the one, the rattle's the one that Anne Hathaway and Jacqueline Field have in common. I know it's my turn now. And remember, I know that she does a bunch of shenanigans up in here. And ultimately, I'm going to have to figure out a place in the sequence where I can plan on confronting her in a beer, because that's where I'm going to have to be able to win. And I also have to get back to Shoreditch at some point, because I'm going to have to make sure I know the hideout of the fair youth. So she moved there, I move here. Remember, she fled to there, she moved, I moved to St. Paul's. She now goes to Eastcheap or to South Wark. I'm pretty sure she's at Eastcheap, if I remember correctly. I think she goes Eastcheap, Cornhill, Cornhill. So actually, I should go to Cornhill now. Yeah, I think it's Cornhill, Cornhill, if I remember correctly. So I'm going to go on memory here. I'm pretty sure it's Cornhill, Cornhill, because I think the next one is going to be also a money. So I'm going to confront her again. I put this in here. I take this card. I put it on top of Cornhill. Is she there? She is there. Him have I lost. Thou hath both him and me. He pays the whole, yet I am not free. Magic, kids. This comes out of the game. We get another clue. It is Maria Mountjoy. And the dark lady's like, oh no, you're really onto me. Now she's in a flee 3 this time. So 1, 2, 3. She ends up at beer. Remember, it was like thing there. I think it was. And now she's gonna move normally. She moves back to Bishop's Gate, and then I think she goes to the shore ditch, and she goes back. So we've confronted her 2 times now, successfully. Plus, we got the clue because we got all 11 locations. Now, this Maria Mountjoy is kind of useless in that she tells us that we know that the answer is not chain, heart, and inkwell. It just can't be those 3 things. And because it's clubs, well, it's less than 3. So we know it's not Maria Mountjoy. It could be one of those 3. It could be 2 of those 3. It could be 0 of those 3, but it is definitely not all 3 of those. We would have had no reason to think it was all 3 of those unless it was potentially inkwell and chain and heart. That could work. But we have no one to think that it's heart yet. Again, the only one that's over here is the heart that's on Maria Mountjoy, but it's not a very useful clue for us. Second the thing, never assume anything is Brian. I vote to move to the beer, but that's just me. Might go with this game is hard, either small or this sounds very small or Gregor's giant hands. Both. Giant hands. These, unlike the rock guy from the Never-Ending Story. These big, strong hands. All right, so she moved. I'm gonna move up here. Sorry, Brian. I don't know. I moved to beer. I forget. I forget when that would have been relevant. So I'm gonna move to Bishop's Gate because I'm pretty sure she does this dance where she goes to Shoreditch, and I do need to get the Shoreditch. I still have to confront the fair youth. She's gonna go. She moves to theater. Yep, I thought she went to Shoreditch. At some point, she comes back to cross. So I think I want to just pass on my turn and let her come back to cross. Because I think that's correct. Or does she go to house next? Oh, I can't remember now. I can't remember. Because at some point, she ends up over... I thought she went this way, but it turns out she actually went this way. And I just got messed up. And this, I think I'm at that portion of the deck. You start going to the deck so quickly when you start confronting her that it can get really confusing. I think she goes to cross next, so I'm going to chill. No, she went to house. Right, and then she goes to money. So she could be here or here. I think that's where I got confused. I forgot that that was connected to the house the first time through the sequence. So I don't feel totally comfortable confronting her in either location, but I know she goes back to money soon, so I'm going to go there. She goes to tree, or maybe she doesn't go back to money. Oh, that's right. She goes to rowboat next. She goes to rowboat next. When does she go back to cross? Yeah. I don't like my odds, kids. I'm running out of time to get these clues. I'm pretty sure she's not there. I'm pretty sure she's over in this part of the world. And then I'm going to need to confront her in beer, which is going to mean super badness. Remember, so she went theater, house. I still think she goes to cross. I'm going to go there. No, she stays at tree. I really messed this up. I'm going to stay there. Does she go to cross? She does go to cross. Oh, she might have just stayed there, though. But I think she goes to money next. I'm going to confront her in Bishop's Gate because I'm... No, she goes to rowboat next. She's definitely over here. She goes to rowboat next. She goes tree, cross. She just camps in Clerkenwell for 3 turns. And she goes to rowboat next. I messed this up. So I'm going to go here. We're going to confront the fair youth in Shoreditch. I was correct. So that's helpful. So that was done. That's just a free action. So I move, I confront him from Shoreditch. And again, I figured out it was Shoreditch because I knew it was there or there. St. Paul's pointed me to Shoreditch because it went through Cripple Gate. So that's how we deduced that. Her turn, I think she goes to, no, now she goes to beer. I'm all over the place. Woof. That's helpful to remember. So she was over here. Wow, I'm really bad at this game. And now she goes this way. Maybe I can cut her off. Yeah, now she goes this way. So she goes, she must go, she goes Shoreditch, Bishop. All right, I got disconnected again. Yeah, my internet's funny today, guys. I'm sorry. But yeah, I got disconnected. I'm reconnected. Here we are. So again, I just went there. I'm confronting her in St. Paul's. All this the world wills know, yet none knows well to shun the heaven that leads men to this hell. And that is out. So I get another clue. It is Lucy Morgan. So it is not Lucy Morgan. I mean, the Dark Lady, this is Lucy Morgan. The Dark Lady is not Lucy Morgan, or the Darker Lady. And Lucy Morgan has another oneer. So it could be heart, it could be crown, or it could be inkwell. So the shared thing here, and I'm going to put it like this, is, well, she has a shared with both of them, right? So she has a shared crown with Anne Hathaway, and she has a shared inkwell with Jacqueline Field. And I'm going to move these cards over here to make some room. So this gets interesting, right? Because when you start figuring out the math of this, there's only 7 symbols that it could be. And one of them is going to, just by process of math, is going to have to be shared. What is it? Heart. The heart's over here. And then we know it's not those 3. And we know it's not this. Oh, let's have her flee. So she's in a flee 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we get to the start of the sequence. So those go away. This comes back. This is my last time through. And now she's at cross. And we know she's over here because she starts coming down. There's going to be a tree at some point. That's the start of the sequence. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And now she's going to move. She moves to house. So she's going to be here or here. Yeah, I think I'll be able to pull this off. All right, so now I'm going to start trying to figure this out, right? I can confront her one more time. That should give me the clues I need. Let's figure this out. If it is, we have no reason to think it's ring. I mean, it could be music note, chain, and heart, right? There's nothing ruling that out, which is funny. So it could be music note, chain, heart, straight up. There's no conflict with that. It just is what it is. That would be super simple. If it is this, then it would have to be rattle, heart, and ring. So if rattle's in there, it has to be rattle, heart, and ring. If it is inkwell, it would have to be inkwell, chain, and ring. And if it is crown, it would have to be crown, music note, and ring. There was no chance it was this anyway, so I don't know why this is a helpful card. I still haven't figured out these less than 3 cards. I'm not smart enough. So I'm going to need one more card and hope that gives me the code to finally decipher this. I'm going to move to Blackfriars. And I think I can cut her off down here. Although I forget where I confronted her the first time. That would be helpful. So cross house, tree. I can probably get her in Clerkenwell and then just go hang out in Eastcheap. Hopefully. So I move to Blackfriars. She moves to cross. I'm going to go to Clerkenwell. She moves to house. I'm going to stay in Clerkenwell. She moves to tree. I know she's over there because she's about to do this loop down here. So I'm going to confront her in Clerkenwell. So I'm going to put in a fog card. Now, if you ever run out of fog cards, you lose. Now, one of the ways to increase difficulty is taking out fog cards. I've never gone through all 10 fog cards, so I don't totally understand. And there's a chance I'm totally off base here, but I'm pretty sure I'm in the right part of the sequence. There she is. Then will I swear beauty herself is black, and all they fell that that complexion lack. Excellent. So we get another clue. It is Jane Davenport. And we're going to do the flea. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I did confront her in Blackfriars. So I'm glad I went up to the tree. She goes all the way over to Eastcheap. So again, it was 1, 2, she went 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She's in Eastcheap, so that's one opportunity to get her in a beer that I missed. And then she's going to move again. She moves to an unknown location. Now, she's still in sequence. It's just I can't see it. I think she goes to Cornhill, if I remember correctly. Yeah, because I think it's now money, money, and then she's going to do some things. Now that I have a fog card, there's an action on the back of this that I could do, but it might be bad. It might actually just radically, it might make me change the darker lady, right? So let's see if I can decode this before I do something radical like that. We get Jane Davenport. Now, Jane Davenport is either 0 of these clues or it's 2 of these clues. Hopefully this cracks the case for us. If it is 2 of these clues, it could not be rattle money because that would mess with Jacqueline Field. It could not be, well, it could be ring money, so that's legit, and it could be rattle ring. So we, or it could be none of them. If it was none of them, 1, 2, 3, then at that point, it would have to be Inkwell. It can't be none of them. Because if it was none of them, then it would have to be Inkwell, Chain, and then we're kaput. So it can't be none of them. It has to be 2 of these, right? That's a helpful visual. Because if it was none of them, we lose 2 of those symbols over here. And if we lose those symbols, it has to be Inkwell. And if it has to be Inkwell, then we lose those 2 symbols. And that's 5 symbols, and that we have to have 3 symbols. So we know it can't be none of them. So 2 of these symbols are right, exactly 2. And we know it can't be rattle music note. So we know for a fact that ring is one of our answers. So ring and what is now the question? Well, interesting. If it was ring and rattle, it'd be ring, rattle, and heart. So that's one thing. So that's a legitimate solution. If it was ring and music note, ring and music note, and then it'd be one more. It had to be ring, music note, and crown. So I cannot solve this because both of those are viable. Woof. I'm going to have to confront her one more time. Both of those are viable because ring and music note means ring, music note, crown. And the other way, it would be ring, rattle, and a heart. And both of them are absolutely viable options. So I could do this action. I could get my butt up to Shoreditch because I know she's going to end up there at some point, and hopefully there's still enough cards. Remember, once I get to Shoreditch, she goes through 6 cards. So I don't know if I'm going to have a chance to go back to Eastcheap. So I think I try to get lucky with this cloud card because I think I'm at that point in the game. So I'm going to do the cloud card action, right? All right, and once you flip it over, there's no going back. Better, good or bad. I, thy babe, chase thee afar from behind. Advance the stealth beck by 2 cards. So we carry that action out. This goes back in here. So that wasn't good. She was in Cornhill. Now that's out of the deck. So if we were to go through this again, we're now like, we have a gap in the sequence, which is frustrating. We advanced that and that. And now she's at beer, which is another beer card I missed out on. And that was my turn. So now she moves again and she goes to house, which now she's up here. So that was a really bad cloud card for me. Is not going to do me any favors. I go to Cripplegate. She moves. She goes to Shoreditch. I go here. She moves. She goes back to Bishopsgate. I stay, or in Cripplegate. I'm going to stay in Shoreditch. She goes to Tree. I'm pretty much sure she's there because she goes Shoreditch, Bishopsgate. But I don't think I'm going to have another beer to do the rendezvous thing. Unfortunately, I think that's how this is going to work out. But I'm going to confront her here because I'm pretty sure she's here. So we put this on the Shoreditch card. And lo and behold, there she is. O cunning love, with tears thou keepst me blind, lest eyes well seeing thy foul faults should find. We're going to put this card out. We're going to get another clue. This should be the last clue we need to solve this. But she's going to advance 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. She's at a rowboat. She's all the way over here. She's going to move again. She goes to a tree. She ends up here. I don't think there are any more beers in the deck, so I cannot get her at the rendezvous point. So I'm not going to be able to win this one. But let's see if we can solve this puzzle anyway. So it's 0 or 2. Well, what were our two options? We know it's circle, so it has to be 2. If it's circle heart, well, it can't be. If it's circle heart, let's see if that's an option. Or ring. So ring heart, and ring just means that they were married. Crown just means I think they were connected to royalty, if I'm not mistaken. So most of these symbols are pretty self-explanatory. If it was ring crown, it'd be ring crown music note, which is legit. If it was ring heart, it'd be ring heart baby rattle, which both are still viable. What the hell? Ring baby rattle. No, the other one might not be viable. Because if it was ring heart, it'd be ring heart baby rattle. If it was ring crown, it'd be ring crown music note. Both of which are still viable. That is nutty. That's so impossible. Again, the darker ladies are nuts. My logic sound, I don't see how I could have solved that, because it's either ring crown music note. Let me think of it this way. Let me think it through. It's ring crown music note, which is consistent. Yeah, this literally gave me no information. Or ring heart baby rattle. Either way, I've known all along it's ring. That is useless. This somehow did not. I don't think I've ever had 6 clues and been literally unable to discern what it is. Ring heart baby rattle or ring crown music note. I think I would need a 7th clue, but then you're advancing the deck 7. Now, if I had a card, like some of these cards are like put 1 clue back and get another clue. If I got another clue, with not being able to do any clues in the first half, so this is exactly 2. Yeah, so this would have been the one we needed. This, if I had this instead of this, that's absolutely the one we needed, because then you know it's ring crown music note. So, but unfortunately, we are going to run out of time because she goes from there. She stays in the theater. Yeah, because I know she's over there, because then it goes cross house. Or is it house? Yeah, she goes cross house. So she's way the frig over there. She's in the theater. I can't get to her. I mean, and I still want to confront her in a where there's beer. So unfortunately, we weren't able to do it. But we know that this would have been the clue, because I could have moved here. She moves. Oh, I lose. So foul a lie. End of the game. If I was going to confront, we know, yep, there's a crown, there's a music note, there's the ring. The darker ladies got the best of me, unfortunately. But cool little puzzle. This would undoubtedly be beer. Yep, there's the beer symbol. So we found we knew that the fair youth was in Shoreditch. We knew that our rendezvous point was beer, but unfortunately, we're not able to deduce the location of our fair lady. So, or our dark lady, who might be fair, who might not be. I don't know. It's all unclear. Mystery's weird. All right, let's go one with the rival poet, and then we'll wrap this thing up. But yeah, it's a very cool puzzle. I mean, even when you lose, like it's still like something satisfying of being able to like, that's what I think. One of the things I like about these expansions is they're still giving you something you're figuring out. It's just a matter of can you do it all quick enough, and some of that's like, can you get a sequence? Can you get in the top of the sequence quick enough? There's definitely a bit more min-maxing that can go into it. Doing this live is super interesting and an interesting part of the challenge. I'm not complaining. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Did you reckon the high difficulty ladies? The butler did it. This is Catnip. What's up, Catnip? Mr. Sam, I think the manual has different symbols that make the game hard. If you're unlucky enough to draw the symbol that is tough for this lady, it may happen. I think the manual has different symbols that make the game hard. I don't. You mean different sequences or symbols? The manual has. So these are the darker ladies that came with the expansion. I'll probably use the base ones for the next one, and because the rival poet really does ratchet up the difficulty because you can't just camp out anywhere. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I think you just don't need as many clues with the regular ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about with new symbols, dude. There are ways to take out symbols, which I'm going to do in the next game, and I guess I could. The rendezvous I think would make the rival poet like ridiculously hard. I'll keep the fair youth because it's interesting. I mean, they're all interesting. I mean, you can mix max all these the way you want. I don't know if it'd be super fun to have all that going on along with the rival poet. What time is it? All right, we're good. We're gonna definitely go a lot quicker this next one, so buckle up. And I'll do one of the harder sequences. So if you're going in the book, there's sequences where she moves every turn. There's sequences where she may not move. I'll do the move every turn, but there's also going to be only 24 cards instead of 26, so that means the sequence is going to be shorter, which means you have less time. Brian, I will check it out. So, like myself, a logic puzzle. Catnip says same. This looks interesting, Mr. Sam. There's a wheel with ladies to take out to make it easier or harder. Yes. So I get it. Yeah. So it doesn't work for the darker ladies, but there's a wheel for the regular ladies, which I'm gonna do. The dark ladies that come with the base game, which I'm gonna do for the second game here, for sure. Sorry, I was just a little confused. Brian, I'll watch the game later. Good luck, Greg. Thank you, Brian. Have a good day. I don't recall, but it's something like if your lady is clubs and take out hearts. No. That doesn't work for the darker ladies. It's only for the regular ladies. The darker ladies are already hard enough. Super hard. So, and again, we'll see how that works in this next game. So I'm going to roll a D12. I got a 10, so that's going to be the fair youth. This represents our rival poet. We're going to set up I'm going to have it move every turn because I just think the may not move with the rival poet might be a little bit much. And I would like to try to get a win on the channel. So we're looking at only the top left of the cards now, and we're looking for these specific sequences, right? So it's going to be a little bit of a hunt for a second, but as we get more cards that we found, then it'll be obviously a lot easier. So Q, E, I'm going to start from the bottom up, looking for a U in the top left corner. I'm looking for you, and you're looking for me. We found each other. I don't know why I'm talking like Mickey, because it just seemed like a thing to do. Why the heck not? I can't find you. Where are you? Oh, you is over here. All right, so U. We need a G. Professor a G? Nope, just a G. Wrong game, kids. Wrong game. That's not a G. That's a no. Yeah, G. I need a. What the heck just happened? I need an F. 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 We need a P, not FU. Stop thinking it. P. We need a dash K. So we're looking for ones that have the dash in the top left next to a K. We need a Y. We need a Z. We need a K. We need a C, the letter C as in Charlie. We need a dash S. We need an N. We need a dash U. We need an R. We need an S. We need a T. We need a dash A. We need an actual A without the dash. We need an M. We need an X. We need a B. Dash dash X and dash L. So there should be 22 cards here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4. And by 22, I mean 24. That's correct. Reading is hard. So these 8 cards come out. This is going to be our deck. And it's just a very hard sequence in the back of the book. Put a 2 on the back, and there we go. Fair Lady's going to start in the theater, and there are 3 theaters on the board. Now remember, like, you notice these expansions, that's the number of actions that I spent trying to do these 2 mini puzzles obviously detracts if you're not focusing on the main thing, and just got a little unlucky that I just wasn't able to deuce that in 5 cards. All right, we're going to start. These are from the base game. So I'm going to shuffle them up, and then I'm going to do exactly what Mr. Sam the Man is talking about, where I'm adjusting the difficulty to make it a little harder. So we're going to take one at random. So there are 12 cards here, and there's 7. So 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. 7 is rows. I'm going to get the other rows. Now there's only 2 of each type instead of 3, as in the darker ladies. And we're going to go to the next one in sequence on this card, and we're going to take out the 2 pine leaves, or whatever the heck that is. Leaves. We're taking out the leaves. I don't know why I said pine leaves, because there's pine needles, but you know, I digress. Where is the clue card? Is here. Obviously, we put this here, and we put this face down. We're going to put all the location cards on top of this. They are in alphabetical order still. They'll just go here, and everything else is set. Now, the rival poet. The rival poet. So there's the elusive one where you try to corner him, and if you stop him, you get another clue. So it makes the game a lot easier. The other way to, by the way, so if you're looking at the difficulty here, flip that over so I don't get any information. So in easy mode, you can remove the next to joined to her by a dotted line. So to make it easier, you can like remove dotted line at the ladies red rose. Yeah, so if I would remove this, that makes it easier. Instead, I removed the leaves, which makes it harder, right? So it's like a really cool little wheel, although it does look, I guess we'll go with Star of David instead of pentagram, right? We'll do that. It's a Star of David. All right, we're good. I feel better about that. So put that there. All right, elusive poet only moves when the player pawn is exactly 1 step away. It basically tries to run from you. If you can ever catch him, you get an extra clue, blah, 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 blah. Instead, we're doing the aggressive poet. Every turn, he moves 1 step toward the player, except he never moves into a location with the current stealth symbol, and he never moves in the fog. Given a choice, he will take the rightmost option facing towards the player pawn, not porn. It's very different. You may not enter his location, but if he catches you, you must use your turn to move away from him. So you can get to a sequence where you just you can't confront because you just have to move because the poet is on top of you. Right? We're going to start in East Cheap. The rival poet will always start in the other location that has the same color. But if we started in green, so there's different colors here, like Southwark and Shoreditch are both like that dark brown. Clerkenwell and Cornhill are both purple. So Eastcheap and St. Paul's are both red. So I'm going to put the rival poet there. He is red. I'm going to put myself there. I'm the bald whitey. Done and done. Chat. Okay, only for regular. Catnip, a win on the channel. I'm either lucky or unlucky, but I don't think I've ever seen Greg win. It happens. Oh, that's funny. Mike Owens, if you lose, just blame the early start time today. I blame that I added 2 modules, and I also blame that I was not, like, planning to play this today. I was like, "Oh, wait, today's Skytear Hearts tomorrow. Oops." Yeah, I would have liked the, warm-up game of this, before putting it on the channel, but that's fine. We're good. Who needs it? So we're not doing the rendezvous. I think the rendezvous would add a lot of difficulty, especially with the rival poet. So we're just going to do the regular cards, but we're on a very hard sequence, which is on the back of the base game rulebook, page 22. And now we're going to have to make this work with this rival poet, making our life hard. So, bam. The rival poet always goes the shortest distance to get to me, but unless the shortest distance would require it moving into a location with a symbol that matches the card. The fair lady, so we have her theater and then house. So she goes to Cripplegate, and she's always moving. Remember, I made it so she's always moving just to make this a little bit easier. She's going to Cripplegate, Bishopsgate, or Blackfriars. She would not stay in Liberty of the Clink. Again, I was playing a game where she didn't necessarily move every turn. Now she moves. So we have theater, house. Now the rival poet moves. He's going to take the shortest distance to get to me. He goes to Cornhill. I would have liked to have gone to Cornhill, but now I can't because he's a big jerk and he's in my way. So I'm going to just move away this way. Again, she's always moving. I could try to get lucky and see if she pulls beer. I'm going to do that. No, but I don't have the East Cheap card because you don't start with the card where you start on your initial location. So her going to beer wouldn't help me anyway. So I'm going to go to London Bridge because it's falling down and I'm going to repair it or something like that. And there we go. We go to the fair lady's second turn. She does move to beer. It's so annoying. So she moves here. There can't be any possible other place that she was, right? So if we go to our first 3 clues, it was theater, house, beer. So we know it's short, unlike last time where it was like, I don't know where she is. We know right at the bat, boom. She starts in Shoreditch, she goes to Bishopsgate, she goes to Eastcheap. It's all good. And now she could go to Rowboat, which would mean she goes right to London Bridge. So I'm going to chill where I am, and I still want to find this fair youth because I'm throwing that in. Notice a rival poet will not move into beer because it matches, but that is the shortest distance, so he just stays. We're going to go this in London Bridge and start finding the hideout of the fair youth. It's beer. Doesn't really help us because we're now back to a place where the person we're talking to, it's like, beer! Which way? I don't know. Both ways, because they both have a beer in an adjacent location. So, at least, we got that out of the way. The lady's going to move to money. So she might move to Cornhill. She might move to London Bridge. We don't know which way she went. I could take the 50-50 coin flip and see. I wish she moved to Rowboat, but she didn't. The rival poet now goes into Eastcheap. Right? Because he was in a place with money. It doesn't matter. It's a matter of will he move into a place with money. There he wouldn't, but there is no money in Eastcheap, so he's going to do that. I go to South Wark. I get my second of these cards. Hopefully I can do some confronting. You see that too, like if you can confront 1 or 2 times before you get the free clue, it's helpful because then you cycle through the deck slower. That just wasn't able to work out for me last game, and that absolutely had a negative effect on my final results. The dark lady, so she's not the darker lady anymore, she's just the dark lady. She gets beer. So she's going to South Wark or Eastcheap, and the rival poet goes to London Bridge. I think I'm going to take advantage. Oh, man. If it's theater, that's actually good information. I will move because I'm still trying to confront the Dark Lady. The Dark Lady goes to money. So let's review. So she was theater, house, beer, money, beer, money. So theater, house, beer, money, or money, beer, money. We just don't know. So she's either there or there. He's going to move into money. I should have gotten the Liberty of the Clink card, which is an awesome name for a location. I dig it. Money beer money. She's way the heck over there. There's no chance she's going to move into my location. So I'm just going to take this opportunity to do this. Cross. So went toward cross. So that's interesting. So they're both pointing towards Southwark. So either one of them are lying to me, or the location is 100% Southwark. Which would be super lucky. It did not explore in Southwark. London Bridge is going either way. So London Bridge could be lying to me. And then Liberty Clink could be pointing to London Bridge. I mean, I'm literally already down to Southwark. Or no, well, never mind. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It could be Bishopsgate. 1, 2, 3, 4. It can't be Cornhill because that's only 3. But if it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, it could be Bishopsgate. It could be Eastcheap. It can't be Cornhill because it has to be the shortest. Or it could be Southwark. It could be London Bridge if London Bridge is lying to me. So we know it could be one of these 4 locations. I'll just put ones on them. 1, 1. These arrows are funny. 1, 1. It's only London Bridge if London Bridge is lying. Here, there's utility in checking in St. Paul's, Blackfriars, Cornhill, etc., etc. All right, the fair lady again. I'm just reviewing this to try to speed this up. So she went down into money to there, and then she went money, beer, beer, money, beer, money, beer, money, beer, money. I want some beer money, beer, beer, money, beer, money, beer, 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 money, beer, money, beer. Rival Poe comes into my location, which forces my hand. I'm gonna have to move on my turn. We go to Blackfriars. Beer, money, beer, money, beer. It's funny. Blackfriars comes out. The Dark Lady is gonna move. House. Beer, money, beer, money, beer. House. So Bishopsgate or Liberty the Clink. We don't know. He will not move into the house. I'm gonna take advantage of this opportunity to look in Blackfriars. And he goes toward cross. Interesting. So if it's going toward cross, we know it's not Blackfriars because Liberty the Clink would have pointed that way. Right? So if it's going toward cross, that means 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. I'm sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. We know it's not Southwark. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We know it's not London Bridge because he would have pointed down. London Bridge was just pointing up. So it could be Eastcheap or Briar's Gate. Bishopsgate. Whatever. One of these days I'll get the names right. So it's one of those 2. And Cornhill should give me the answer that I crave. Correct. That's right. I crave it. Liberty Dark Lady. I don't know why I said Liberty the Clink. Dark Lady goes to Shoreditch. The rival poet comes into my location. So again, she went beer, money, beer, money, beer. House, tree. Beer, money, beer, money, beer, house, tree, back up the Shoreditch, which is where she started. So she just really likes this part of the world. I have to move because this dude is on my butt. So I'm going to move there. The Dark Lady moves to Bishopsgate. So she either goes to Cripplegate or to Bishopsgate. And the rival poet comes in to make my life super fun. I want him to get off my butt. Maybe I get lucky. Ooh. I have to move. It's really annoying. The rival poet does make this harder. I'm gonna go there. I haven't played with him. I played with him the least of the other modules because it just changes the game so much. All right, cross again. She has to move, so she cannot be in Bishop's Gate. So she went beer money, beer money, beer back to Shoreditch over to Cripple Gate, and now she's either in St. Paul's or she's in Clerkenwell. Beer money, beer money, beer. Boom, boom, boom. Over there, he comes into where I'm at, and that's not good. Oh, I forgot to take cards. I should have St. Paul's and I should have Cornhill. There's 5 more locations I haven't taken yet. Eastcheap is one of them, so I might as well take that opportunity. Rival Poet is on my butt. I'm gonna move here. I take Eastcheap. Eastcheap. It's like something fun about that name. It's fun to say. Dark Lady goes to the rowboat. So beer money, beer money, beer up and around Cripplegate. It's going to be either there or there, and that was in Blackfriars. Beer money, beer money, beer across the top. So it was like across the top. It's kind of saying that for my edification more than yours. Dingle Nuts goes to Eastcheap. I go to Bishop's Gate. So I'm gonna need to get some separation from this dude because I either need to get cloud cards or I need to get a symbol to pull that he'll stop chasing me for a freaking second. We go to theater, so she has to move because I'm doing a sequence where she has to move. He comes into my location again. He can't get enough of me. He's obsessed. So we know that she's there. So beer money, beer money, beer. Whoop. I have to move. I go to Shoreditch. I've done a good job not switching up the pawns so far. That's no small feat for me. She goes to a house. So she goes whoop and then back to Blackfriars. He will come into my location. He's again totally obsessed. I go to Cripplegate. Again, I'm going to get my first clue without actually successfully confronting her, which isn't great. She goes to Tree. So she went beer money, beer money, beer, whoop, and then back up to Clerkenwell. And I'm going to keep saying whoop because it's fun. He comes to me. She's not staying in Clerkenwell. Maybe I try to cut her off at Blackfriars. I don't know, man. This is really annoying. This rival poet's just driving me nuts. She's not going to do money. I still have to explore in Cornhill to figure out which of these two things it is. It's the only place I can really search from to definitively get the answer. If I asked there, one of them would lie to me, so that's like no point. But Cornhill will definitively get me the answer. It can't possibly be Cornhill. Could it be Cornhill? Wait a second. 1, 2, 3, 1. No, it can't be Cornhill because we did the shortest possible distance from here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it can't be Cornhill. So I have to search from Cornhill. I have to move. So bad. All right, let me get the Clerkenwell because I'm beer money, beer money, beer. Whoop whoop. Back up. I don't know. Get away from me. There's no chance I'm gonna get cheese. There's no chance of getting away from him. All right, I'm gonna go here and get this card. We'll get this card. We know that it's not Mary Fritton. Mary Fritton was royalty. I don't know the chain. She was locked up. I don't. She liked bondage. I don't know. There's something there. She did have a baby though, so we know that she had a royal baby, and she was chained. I think it's in the rulebook. Let me look this up because I I don't want that bondage thing to stay out there for too long. It might be. Oh, it might have been in the. Nope. Here we go. Has a documented link to Shakespeare. There's a link to. They all have documented links to Shakespeare. I think or not. I don't know. Maybe. And she might have liked bondage. I don't know. 1600s are crazy, kids. The she's going to either Cripplegate or Blackfriars. Rival poet is still riding me, and then that's not great. So beer money, beer money, beer. Whoop whoop. Back to a house. I'm gonna move here. Theater. So she's at Shoreditch or Liberty of the Clink. Rival poet still on me. So bad. I'm gonna go to Saint. I need to break. I need to break him. I also need to get to where I can confront her. I'm going to Cornhill. She goes to cross. So beer money, beer money, beer. There, and cross. And I literally cannot follow. She could be either one of those two places legitimately. So it just gets really lost over here. He comes, finds me in Cornhill, which is really annoying. I'm getting annoyed at you, rival poet. I'm gonna go here to the pub in Eastcheap, and she goes to money there and there. He comes here. Yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna lose him. I need to get either fog cards in here, which I haven't confronted her yet, so there are none, or I need to just get lucky that she goes to the place that I go. I'm gonna have Bishopsgate. She goes to the pub. He follows me here. I'm gonna go to Cornhill. Please go to money. Woo! All right, she goes to money. So she's either here or here. I don't know which one she is, but this gives me the chance to finally get the answer to this question on my turn. Again, he won't come into money. Goes toward beer. Eastcheap is the location. We know that for sure. I'll put that here. And next time I'm in Eastcheap, I'll be able to reveal it. If it's not Eastcheap, then I play real bad. All right, that went toward beer, right? Yep, it went toward beer. Excellent. The fair lady goes toward cross. I literally have no clue where she is. Again, this is a harder sequence, so it got really weird. It was beer, money, beer, there, and then it diverged. She's one of these two locations, and now the rival poet is just gonna drive me bananas. So she's moving every turn, but this is definitely one of those ones where it's tougher. I know she's on this side of the board because we're getting close to the end of the first time through. I haven't confronted her at all. I will go to Eastcheap. We're going to flip this over. That will be Eastcheap. There we go. We found the hideout for the fair youth. So that part's done. The question is, what can we do for the rest of this? Does she go to beer? She does not. She goes to house. So she is going to move from there. So she's actually not here. She's either going to go to Cripplegate, or she goes to Liberty the Clank, or she could be in Blackfriars. This dingbat comes here. I'm going to hope she goes to money. So I'm going to go to Cornhill. She goes to tree. So she's in Shoreditch or Clerkenwell. I'm pretty sure she's in Shoreditch based on the other sequence. He comes and gets on me. I'm going to go to Bishopsgate. And that's the first time through. She moves to theater. So she has to be in Blackfriars? Woof. Did I just have this all wrong? Yeah, because the first thing... Interesting. The next thing's cross, so maybe she's in St. Paul's? He comes here. I know she gets over here at some point, so I'm gonna... Oh, man. I thought it was Theater Cross... I thought it was Theater Cross Beer. Theater Cross Money Beer? They get two cards stuck together? I'm gonna go to Cornhill. She goes to House. Oh, it's Theater House Beer. Oh, I had it all wrong. So the first one's actually Blackfriars. She's over here. That's wild. He comes here. I go to Eastcheap. Southwark, she comes here. He comes here. I go to London Bridge. And this should be good for me. Yeah, she gets to London Bridge. He will not enter London Bridge, and I can finally confront her for the first time today. We get a fog card in here. So the first four cards are of the sequence. And the one before that was Clerkenwell. So, and the one before that was house. So it could have been either one, but it goes first four cards of the sequence are 1, 2, 3, and now we're in London Bridge. So I can finally confront her in London Bridge. We go here, bam, there we have, therefore I lie with her and she with me, and in our faults by lies we flattered be. Bom, bom, bom. All right, so we're going to get one clue. We're going to have her flee. She advances 2, 1, 2. She ends up at money. And then she's going to do her normal movement. She goes toward beer. Rival poet is going to come and mess with me again. I got Jane Davenport, so let me figure this out before I take my turn. Jane Davenport has a connection of exactly 0 or 2 with the rose. So that's good to know. 0 2s are generally helpful. There is absolutely no overlap with Mary Fritton. So that's not going to be useful to deduce really anything. I'm going to move to Eastcheap. She goes to house. She should be at Bishop's Gate. He comes here. I'm going to move to Bishop's Gate. She moves to Shoreditch. Rival poet comes here. Oh, it's going to be super annoying. Yeah, I wouldn't have gone there last time. I would have gone here because I think she comes back to Bishop's Gate now. So you have to kind of plan ahead. Now I can move here. She comes back to Bishop's Gate, or she goes to Cripplegate. I think she stays over on this part of the board, if I remember correctly. I have to start gambling a little bit. So I'm going to do this. Because then it goes, yeah, beer, money, beer, money, beer is like the next part of the sequence, I'm pretty sure. So if we remember, I confronted her at London Bridge. That was the fog card. Where's the fog card? Yeah, I confronted her at London Bridge, and then the last 3 I should know. It was beer, house, tree, house. I think she goes up and down over here. So a little gambly, but I'm pretty sure this is right. So we're at Bishopsgate. Is she there? No! Greg plays bad. Woof. I lost her. So that's not good. So we failed. We still got the fog in there. I'm all off kilter now. Yikes. So I guess she's in Cripplegate unless she's down at Liberty of the Clink. No, she can't be. She's at Cripplegate. So now I know that the second fog card on the deck is Cripplegate because I play bad. We still advance 2 because I'm trying to find her, so she hears me coming. She's now at Rowboat, and then she moves again and gets to Theater. Man, I got all messed up. I don't remember the sequence at all. Where's the beer, money, beer, money, beer? Beer, money, beer, money, beer. Or was that last turn? No, that was this turn. Woof. She moves into here, which is bad. I'm gonna move to Eastcheap. Now it's beer, money, beer, money, beer. So she did come around. Wow, I missed that. So she goes Shoreditch, Cripplegate, house. She's down here. Beer, money, beer, and then a bunch of other stuff happens. Yikes! I'll move here because it'll be beer. I can move here. Money. Nope. I'll move here. I got the tempo with the rival poet's super annoying. She goes to Clerkenwell. Woof. I think I go to Cornhill. Beer, money, beer. I can get her at Eastcheap, I think. She moves to house. Never mind. My whole sequence is off. He gets me here. Did beer, money, beer already happen? Was that just earlier? Yep, it was earlier. It must have been when I was exploring her. Yeah, now she's heading over that way. Right. It's all coming back to me now. Now she's in Clerkenwell. He comes here. I'll go to Blackfriars. She goes to house. He will not come into house. I just have to get lucky. We are just trying to get lucky now, people. Is she there or is she in Cripplegate? Ah, she's in Cripplegate. I'm so bad at this. Yeah, this is falling apart. It is falling apart. So she still flees too. She goes to cross. She'll move again. She goes to money. She's in Cornhill. He comes here. Yikes. So she's been at Cripplegate 2 times where I thought she was somewhere else. That's not good. And now I just know basically the last 2 fog cards are both Cripplegate. And I'm running out of time, like big time. I'm going to go to St. Paul's. She goes to Beer, so she's at Eastcheap. He comes and gets me. This rival poet really throws me off. Cornhill. She goes to London Bridge or Cornhill. He will not come in. Remember, the start of this gets her into. Remember, the last card is she has to get back to Clerkenwell. I think she gets there. I don't think there's enough time to go that way. So I think she has to be in Cornhill. Desperate times here, kids. Cornhill. Or is she in London Bridge? Hey, she's in Cornhill. Him have I lost, thou hast both him and me. He pays a whole, yet I am not free. I get another clue. She flees. She goes 3, 1, 2, 3. She gets to tree, which I know is up here. And now she's going to come down around here. He'll actually come into my location. Now I can try to figure out this puzzle. There's one of these as a row. So it's going to be Inkwell or Rattle or Ring. The Ring is kind of linked with her, remember, but she's 0 or 2. Don't think there's much connection. I mean, the one thing you could say, if it's Rattle, then it's those 3, right? That's pretty easy. If this was 0, I wouldn't have enough information. In theory, that could still work. No, in theory, that couldn't work. If that was 0, it had to be Inkwell, and then only one. Oh, so this can't be 0. This has to be 2. That's super interesting. So if this has to be 2, then it could be these 2 and that. No, it can't be those 2 and that. It could be. It'd have to be the Ring as one of them. And if it's going to have to be the Ring, then it can't be these 2. So it's going to be the Ring for sure, and then either the heart or the music note or the chain or the crown is how that would have to work out. And there's the reason for that, because this can't be 0, because it wouldn't work with these 2 guys, gals, ladies, fine ladies. But it has to, and it can't be those 2, because then it wouldn't work with these 2. So it has to be the Ring is one of them, then one of these other 2, and then one of those 2. So the Ring takes care of Jacqueline Field. We are good to go. All right, on my turn, I know she's up there, and I know she's about to book it down here, and I don't think I can cut her off before she gets past me. So I'm going to go to Eastcheap, 1, 2, 1, 2. I try to cut her off at Southwark. I'm going to check if that's where I cut her off last time. I did not. Yeah, I'm going to try to cut her off at Southwark, so I can go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. If I go there, she goes there, he follows. I go there, she goes there, he follows. I go there, she goes there. We're good. So I'm going to go there. This is our last time through. She's going to theater. He follows. I go there. She goes to Liberty of the Clink. He follows. I go there. She goes to Southwark. He can't follow because the symbol matches. I'm confronting her in Southwark. We're putting this in. This should work. There she is. I hate from hate away she threw and saved my life saying not you. Excellent. We get a clue. Bam. Winifred Burbage. So she has a noted connection to Shakespeare. She is an author, I guess, and she also has babies. 0 or 2. Well, interesting. The ring is not there. If it was 0, could it be 0? We know it's not the rattle. Could it not be that, and could it not be inkwell? We know it's not the rattle or inkwell, so it has to be 0. It's not going to be enough, kids. It has to be 0 because we know it's not rattle or inkwell, and we know it's not chain then. So we know it's ring and crown, and it's either heart or a music note, and we have no good reason to suspect one or the other. I have 4 clues, so 1, 2, 3, 4. She's now at beer, so we're in the beer, money, beer sequence, which I forgot last time. So she's here. Nope, the fair lady's here. And now she's going to move normally. She goes to house. So she's here, I think. And then I think she gets over to Cripplegate because I had her here. Unless she went down here. Unless I'm just really bad at this game. He's going to come into here. I'm going to have to confront her 2 more times because I don't have enough information. I'm going to go to Eastcheap. She moves to Shoreditch. Oh, she goes to Cripplegate now. Easy. He follows. I go to Cornhill. She goes to I don't know, which I know was Cripplegate. I think I do this action. He follows me. Oh, I can't do this action. Oh, he doesn't move on fog. That's right. That's cool. So I think I try to get lucky. Didn't work last time. Let's see if it works this time. So I have to. I'm committed to this action. Oh, come on. I got the same one. Did I not shuffle that deck? I'm pretty sure I shuffled. So stupid. No, I don't want the same one. Some of these are so interesting. This is like move your pawn to a neighboring location. Discard this card and reveal a new clue card. Super awesome. Reveal a new clue card. Discard this card. No effect. Discard a clue of your choice. Then draw another from the clue deck. Like so many things that would have been so much more helpful than that. So we advance this by 2. She's at the theater, which means she's here. And then she's going to move normally. She moves to the there, and he comes up to me. I have to move. That was so bad, dude. I moved to Cripplegate. I moved to St. No, I moved to Cripplegate. She moves. She moves to Tree. What? She could have been at Liberty of the Clink. Oh, I don't know. She's here or here. He will follow me. I think she has to be there. I don't think we're at the other part of the sequence yet. I'm gonna fail again. I go to Black. I go to St. Paul's. She goes to Cripplegate. He doesn't move. Woof. What's her next turn? I forget. I think she goes to Shoreditch. I go to Cornhill. She goes to Shoreditch. He follows me here. I go to Bishopsgate. She goes to Cross. I'm going to confront her there one more time. It doesn't matter what those are because I'm never getting back to them. This flips over. Nope. This comes in there. We go to Bishopsgate. She should be here. She is. So shall thee feed on death? That feeds on men, and death once more. There's no more dying then. That's out. We get another clue. And Florio, 0 or 2. It can't be 2 because it can't be this. Well, it could be 2. Oh, interesting. It has to be 2, so it has to be heart. Those are our 3 symbols. We just need one more chance to confront her, and I think we have a chance of maybe getting to the last part of the sequence was a tree. We'd have to get up the Clerkenwell. I don't know if we'll have enough time because we have to advance this 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now she moves to. She goes to house. He will not move in there. I cannot get it to Clerkenwell. But in some hypothetical world where I had a better card, and if I was in Clerkenwell, we could confront her there, and it's going to be those 3 symbols. Booyah. No! We failed again. But yeah, you see the rival poet really adds to the difficulty. If you're just playing the base game, I think it'd be very easy for a solo gamer that you'd probably win this game more often than not, right? But you're spending actions with the fair youth. The rival's really jamming you up by making you less efficient, and you're going through that deck faster. If you did find the fair lady or the dark lady, what you would do is you would count how many cards are left in the deck. And then there's some bonuses, like I think that gives you a 20-point bonus or 15-point bonus. The rendezvous thing has like a 15-point bonus or a 20-point bonus. The number of cards left in the fog deck. So I got a little unlucky. The fog deck I think is a little swingier than it probably should be. Again, it's one of those things like I don't. Maybe it shouldn't always give you a benefit. It'd be nice if it, you know, there are some things. The one fog deck is crazy where it actually makes you choose a different dark lady, and that could be super interesting. But at that point, you still have the same number of clues, and it could actually really help you. So it's not always a bad thing. Um, the fact that I got to switch to Dark Ladies, yeah, the fact that I got the one that just advanced the stealth deck twice and just didn't get an extra clue. If that card gave me an extra clue, that's all I would have needed, right? And I could have confronted her for sure, and I would have won the game that way, right? So there is a swinginess to that. So that was a little bit unlucky, but you see the difference between the darker ladies and the dark ladies, and there's also some luck here. I mean, you can often deduce this with only 4 clues. The fact that I needed the 5th was a little unfortunate. Um, I, I don't think I was missing anything here. There's a chance that I was. I mean, you could just also gamble and be like, well, it's one of those 2. Let's figure it out. The darker ladies, I find you often need 6. That's kind of normal. But it's still, you can probably do it in 5, I guess, with some iterations. But remember, every time you're getting the extra clue, you are going through that deck so much faster. And the fact that neither game did I confront her before I went to every location, that's also not great because you're just moving. That adds, right? Because that was my first clue was from this. That meant 1, 2, 3, 4 more cards that I went through this deck. And remember, if I had one more chance to confront her, I would have won. So I got a little confused with the sequence. That didn't help. I looked for her in 2 places where she wasn't there. That did help in a way because it let me narrow down the sequence a little bit, and it also prevented the rival poet from it kind of kept him off of me a little bit. But in the end, that it also cost me 4 cards. Like I only had 2 clues at the time, and you're advanced. She's still fleeing from you, whether or not you find her or you don't. So this is again a hard sequence. There's only 24 cards in that sequence. I'm not that worried about replayability. Like you're never gonna memorize all the sequences if you're doing a good job just varying it up. The back of this book has 18. Wait, there's very easy sequences. There's easy sequences, moderate sequences. I mean, even if you stick with the hard, there's still 6 different sequences there. Even if you're sticking with the harder ones on these cards, there's 4 sequences here. You can do all of them in reverse. You have different starting points. Like if you have like one of those memories that I don't have where you just memorize things like very, 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 very easily, like that could be, if you memorize patterns very easily, like that could be a problem for you. That will never be a problem for me. Like it just, and I'm not going to play this game enough where it even remotely would become a problem to me. But this is a good game, man. This is a good travel game. I will absolutely take this to travel. I could see playing this two players only trying to figure it out together. I think there's enough, especially if you're having the fair youth and the rendezvous and the rival poet. You can definitely make life easier using the waypoint. I mean, there's a lot of replayability here, and there's a lot of like fun patterns, and it's always cool. Like even when you lose, I just like being able to, oh, I figured it out, right? Like it's a nice malleable deduction puzzle that gives you a lot to really enjoy. And there's always like every time, like I think it's super cool when you're like, I found her, or I didn't in this case. But I blame catnip. So, um, Arcady says, "I love the game. They managed to make a solo secret movement game. It's amazing." Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's really it's nuts. It's nuts, and I think the idea of it, right? This is one of those games that you don't you don't own anything like this. Like you might have secret movement games, you don't have this. Um, and I think that's really cool, right? I think I'm at a point with my collection where this is going to stay longer than it will stay longer than McKee will. It's going to stay longer than Mechanical Beast, right? I have tile placement games that give me a similar itch. Like I have, McKee. I have worker placement games that I just think are more interesting to me. Um, you know, Maybe not worker placement solo game ish, but this game is it's super unique. I really like what it does and how it does it. And I think the history behind Shakespeare is interesting. I was a theater major, so I do have some touch points with Shakespeare in my thespian days back. Now I understand all the voices in your head. You're just the theater weirdo. That is accurate. But so I do have touch points with the source material, and I just dig it, man. I think that's what I'm enjoying about like votes for women. It's what I like about freedom. I think the games that are handling, I mean, this is not the same as reading a historical treatise, right? But I think there anything that's kind of giving you like little touch of history that has that extra layer of intrigue. Like the mechanics don't need to be amazing, and it's still going to be an interesting experience. It's a different kind of experience. Will this ever be a top 10 game for me? Not even close. But it's a game that I want in my collection, and it's a game that I'm going to want to take out once in a while just for the puzzle, and see if we can't solve it, or take it out with Sarah and see if we can solve it together or whatever. So Terry says very unique theme. Yeah, for sure. Faux show. Well, I don't even know there's like these things you can use those. Look at that. It's so nice. I never even noticed those circles before because I'm observant. It's hilarious. Oh, and there's a key here. So this is church. The money is commercial area. The playhouse, obviously, riverside. Rural is the tree. Shakespeare's residence, wherever there's a house and there's a tavern. I do think the rendezvous is nuts because some of these are real hard, man. I mean, some of these, if you find the location, if the rendezvous happens to be a thing where there's four of them, that's going to be a lot easier than a thing where there's only two. I mean, that's just common sense because then you just really have to narrow it down to that very specific part of the sequence. And if that part of the sequence isn't late in the deck, it's going to be really hard to do that final confrontation, where you need to do to fully win the game. So I don't know if I've actually ever won with the rendezvous. I always find the location, but I always like know what the location is supposed to be, but I'm not sure I ever actually pulled off a victory with the rendezvous. That was something I was hoping to do when I thought that I was doing this tomorrow, but I did this today. So that was a first. That I was like, oh, that's like I literally have all my Sky Tier Horde stuff over here. I was like, set up, I'm ready to go. I go to start streaming, and I'm like, well, oh, dude, I'm smart. SMRT, smart. Anyway, this was super fun. And Catnip, I am glad to keep your streak of seeing me lose alive. I would never want to break a good streak. Good streaks are hard to come by, so we're good to go. I'll be back tomorrow with Sky Tier Horde. Thanks again to Side Room Games for a review copy of the Fair Youth expansion. I would highly recommend it if you're interested in this game. Um, it's, again, a little harder to hunt down, and it will cost you probably more than it's worth objectively, in one sense, but it does add a lot of intrigue to the game. I think hopefully these two playthroughs at least showed that off. This game is going to definitely test you a lot more with the Fair Youth expansion and the various modules it throws at you, but also giving you some options to make things a bit easier too, again, with the waypoint, which I like. But that's about it. This is super cool. Questions, comments, epiphanies, put them in the comment section below. I'll be back tomorrow. Catnip laughing. Good. Put a smile on people's face, man. That's what this is all about, right? So that's about it. Thank you so much for joining me today. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. And either way, happy gaming.
Solo.